Hello, my name is Mike Brittenbach. As most of you know, I am Minister of Music here at Emanuel Lutheran Church. To many of us, this organ sounds just fine, and it really does. That is, however, not the full story. We have an impending failure to what is the most important musical instrument in our worship here at Emanuel. I will be showing you exactly what is happening and what the experts have indicated will occur in the next 2 or 3 years. To do this, I will describe and show you what a pipe organ is, then illustrate what is failing in this organ, and finally the planned remedy. A pipe organ is made up of 3 major components. The first is the console, which is the cockpit of the organ. It controls the opening of the valves under the pipes and which rows of pipes speak at any one time. Now, the rows are activated by these knobs, or actually tablets, up above. For instance, if I push this tab down, and I get this sound. If I push this tab down, I get this sound. These little tabs are called stops. They stop the sound of the organ, or when they're up, they start the sound when they're down. Then individual notes are activated by the keys. Without a stop open, the keys are silent. So when you push the stop down, you get a sound. The next component is the wind chest upon which the pipes sit. They act as the breath of the organ through a complicated set of valves, magnets, switches, and a blower. The final component are the pipes themselves. You will note many rows of pipes of different sizes, different shapes, and different materials. Each row is a different sound and is used by the organist as a single sound or as part of a mixture of sounds, much like an artist uses for a palette of colors. I will demonstrate very briefly what I might do in building up a sound on the organ. I would generally start with the principal sound of an organ. To this, I can add more that's higher, a little more higher, or lower. In our current organ, we have 17 rows of pipes. There is much duplication of the sounds in this organ, and for this, it is much less versatile than an organ should be for services. It would be like the artist having 10 shades out of 17 of red, 5 of blue, and only 2 devoted to other colors. For instance, this organ has 10 of this particular sound, and and again. In a space the size of Emanuel's, a more efficient use of rows of pipes would allow for more room to service the instrument, give us wind chests that are made for this space, give a more versatile and compact organ for our current and future growth of music at Emanuel. Our organ has mechanical problems in both the console and the wind chest that has plagued the instrument for the past 20 years. In 1999, a small amount of work was done to address immediate mechanical problems in the wind chests. The inaction to address the major issues of both the wind chest and the console has brought us to an impending crisis. The console is made up of many moving parts, and they are wearing out. I will show you what the inside of the console looks like. We currently have 3 rows of pipes that are shorting out about 50% of the time because the stop tabs are no longer making proper contact. And we have one key on the lower keyboard that is not functioning. Within approximately 2 or 3 years, most of the stops on the organ will no longer work, rendering much of the organ silent. The keyboards are able to be addressed. However, to get to the contacts of the keyboard, the console has to be torn apart, becoming very costly and labor-intensive. Liken it to having to remove the engine of a car to change the battery. The wind chests by this particular builder require more clearance than our space can provide. This has placed undue wear and tear on the valves and switches. If you will look inside the wind chests, and pardon the sound because air is going to be escaping, it is made up of magnets and of pneumatic switches that when you pull on the switch, it opens the valves. The magnet addresses this pneumatic. This particular builder requires about 2 feet more clearance inside than this organ currently has. Thus, it is causing undue wear and tear on the wind chests. If you look closely, you cannot get to the back of the wind chest to do normal maintenance or tuning without a major expense to remove all the pipes, then return them and retune them. Thus, proper maintenance and tuning has been impossible for the back rows of pipes and for the wind chest. We have an opportunity to provide an instrument that will be suited for this congregation for many generations to come, be able to be easily serviced, and to give a more versatile palette of pipework for the organist. I hope this helps you understand the problem. We now look at the solution. The committee was formed by the Worship, Music, and Arts Committee more than 8 months ago to address the issues and come up with a plan to bring to the council as to what would be the best course for addressing the problems. With the help of a world-renowned organ consultant and the hard work of our committee in looking at all of the possible alternatives, that it would be the best stewardship for the assurance of a continued fine tradition of music so associated with Emanuel to replace the current organ. That just replacing the console and fixing the wind chest would not address the fact the organ still could not be tuned or serviced, and that the wind chest would need to be worked on again in another 25 years, costing at least $25,000 to $50,000 in today's money. We felt that it was throwing good money after bad to do this, and that the cost was estimated at 2/3 of what a new instrument will cost to replace the console and fix the wind chest. Mindful of our ministry of the environment, we sought out proposals that would recycle as much of the organ as possible. The committee also discussed at great length the fact that we would have a pipe organ and that it needed to be versatile and provide good support for congregational singing, accompanying the choir with more choices of sound and a box with shutters to allow gradations of volume, and be able to play all periods of organ preludes and postludes with some integrity. With the help of the consultant, we sought proposals from organ builders who specialize in small instruments. Each builder came and saw our current organ and our current space and presented alternative plans for the situation. They each gave us a larger and a scaled-down plan with the codicil that the scaled-down plan would still provide us with a versatile instrument that could be maintained. The plans were presented to the Worship, Music, and Arts Committee, who unanimously voted to present the proposals to the council. The council, after thoughtful debate, unanimously voted to proceed with a scaled-down plan of the builders and a budget of $250,000 that still gives us a very fine and versatile instrument. The committee was then asked to choose a builder and to make this presentation to the congregation asking for your support. After interviewing the 4 builders who have expertise in building small yet versatile organs, the committee unanimously recommended Kaeg Pipe Organs Incorporated from Union, Ohio as our builder. His work was so far above the other builders we interviewed, and his passion for his instruments came through not only in hearing and playing them, but into listening to him describe his work. The new organ will have a solid-state console in solid walnut that has few moving parts to wear out or break. The solid-state components are built to be easily replaced if needed, or upgraded as technology evolves. It will have 9 rows of pipes instead of 17. 8 will be in a box that will have shutters on the front that can open and close to give more control on the volume. There will be 1 row outside of the box as both decorative and to help support the congregational singing. 6 out of the 9 rows of pipes will be recycled from our current organ, saving money and the environment. The organ will have new wind chests that are of a different technology than the current, a much simpler design and many fewer moving parts to go bad. This technology has been in service for more than 50 years with little or no failures by companies who use it. Kaeg has refined this process to be as reliable as any wind chest on the market. We should expect 70 to 100 years of service before it needs major work. Kaeg's first pipe organ, built in 1985, is still working perfectly with no problems. You are actually looking at a similar sized instrument to the one we are considering, built by Kaeg, in a room very similar to ours in Michigan. While each instrument built by pipe organ builders is designed to fit into architectural design of the building, this gives you some idea of what it can look like. We ask you to consider the importance of music in our worship here at Emanuel, and with God's will, need to assure it be passed on to the generations to come. This new organ may very well be the organ your children, your grandchildren, and even your great-grandchildren walk down the aisle to at their wedding, or to sing a mighty fortress in services. This is a major capital investment, second only to the building. It will require all of us to take some ownership, no matter at what level. We ask for your support in this decision and to take advantage of the giving opportunities for this project. There is a brochure that outlines these opportunities that include a Buy a Pipe program and many other giving options. We trust that God's will be in this project. Thank you.